Yeah, just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and this is Drama Talk Radio Podcast. As you know, Drama Talk is the show where the word drama, DRAMA, stands for developing real and moving art. And today we have a guest with us who is doing a lot of good work in the southwest suburb of Aurora, Illinois, and she works with kids. She's developing and nurturing creative skills and preparing these students for a lifelong success. Please welcome from Studio Nafisa, Nafisa Hussein. Welcome, Nafisa.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Great, great. So let's get right to it. I know that you're doing fantastic work with kids, and we want to find out a little bit more about that. But when did you begin Studio Nafisa?
I started the studio in 2012.
Mm.
Earlier, I was in the IT world, and then I had a little bit of change in career, and started developing some programs for kids. And that's when I started Studio Nafisa in 2012, September 2012. So it's been about eight and a half years now.
Okay, fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about what types of classes you have there for the students.
We have a variety of classes related to arts, design, and technology.
Mhm.
So classes that we offer are drawing, painting. As an engineer, and as well as an artist, I help kids connect the dots between STEM and art. So my drawing and painting programs are all infused with math, focusing on STEAM education for kids.
Okay,
Other than
that's
that, we also have some camps. The studio has a facility for celebrating birthday parties, art workshops. We do a lot of art workshops for nonprofit organizations and adults as well.
now I was looking at your website, and there's a lot going on at the studio. So, as far as the art classes go, do you find that this helps in creating the artistic side of children, especially since in some schools the budgets may have been cut or non-existent now for things like art?
Absolutely. Art is an important part of any overall education for kids. We cannot leave that behind. Sometimes it takes a back seat in our education system, but it's so critical for kids to be creative because that is where learning lies, and that is how we have future innovators. Um, in our era, things are changing so fast, and kids need to adapt to that. And one of the things is art helps them to adapt to changes, either in technology or the education themselves, or just life in general. So
Very
art
true.
definitely has a big role in overall education.
Very true. Now, you have before and after school programs, right?
We do have before and after school, mostly after school programs. Uh, our classes run in the evenings after school. Kids come and have a really good time over here with learning how to draw, paint, and many other STEAM related arts.
Okay. Now, I saw also that you do birthday parties there.
We
Are
do
the
have a we do have a facility for celebrating birthday parties.
Okay,
Some of the packages that we offer are painting, which is our most popular package. It's a canvas painting package. We also have a lot of paper art as choices for birthday parties.
okay. Now, of course, I know that we've been dealing with this pandemic for the last year. So, how are you doing virtual birthday parties? What does that consist of?
When pandemic hit, I had to take a really 360, 180-degree turn to pivot my business online. And everything, right from my drawing classes, painting classes, everything went online. And fortunately for us, we have the technology available through Zoom, and that's what we do for our birthday parties as well. We do it over Zoom, and we have an instructor over here who guides step by step. And kids are comfortable joining from home, and they can go at their own pace as well. And everybody has a really great time painting at home. And then we also have a little time for celebration, happy birthday songs, and just cake cutting for the birthday child. All that happens at home, but everybody is joining in virtually.
Okay, great. Because I was going to ask you, what does virtual birthday cake taste like?
Well, it's a beautiful cake, a picture, I would say, rather than a physical cake.
Very good, very good. Now, you also work with the local scouts as far as Girl Scouts and Cub Scouts, right?
Yes, so Girl Scouts and Scouts, earlier used to be Boy Scouts, but now Scouts. So they have really very good programs for their merit badges and requirements that they have to fulfill. And some of those badges are related to art. And that's where we help them go through those requirements and earn those badges. So for Girl Scouts, we have, for brownies, we do some canvas painting badge. For juniors, we do jewelry badge as well as drawing badge.
Okay.
And for cadets, we do book artists. Seniors, we do collage artists, textile art. So mostly art-related badges. And then Cub Scouts also have an art pin, which we help them achieve that.
Okay, great. Now, I noticed you mentioned the different um, types of scouts, different levels. What are the ages of the children you work with?
For my drawing programs, for the in skill building classes, we usually have kids come in at around 4 years of age. We go all the way through 12th grade. So I would say pre-K to 12.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, I know as a parent and an uncle, someone that's been around younger kids, sometimes it's hard to hold their attention and get them to focus on the job at hand. I noticed some of the testimonials on your website. The parents were saying such great things about how calm the kids are in the studio and how patient you and your staff are with the kids. How do you get the kids to settle down, especially the young ones, and focus on the task at hand?
So when kids come and we usually have them settle down a little bit, and then we just focus on uh, have them excited about the art that they're going to work on. And that quickly helps them take out all their supplies really and get ready for it. It is definitely a challenge to keep younger children focused for a longer time. And one of the big benefits of art is that it helps kids build their attention, increase their attention span. And if they are doing the kind of artwork that they like to do, they will stay focused for a longer time.
Okay, that's great. And I saw some of the galleries on your website and the artwork, some of the artwork is stupendous. You would not think that it was done by a child between the ages of 4 and 12. Some of it looks almost professional or done by someone that had been studying art. And I know that the youth are very creative. They're not afraid to take chances on different things. We learn to take chances, to not take chances, excuse me, when we get older. We don't have the same type of creativity a lot as children have. So have you noticed, I should say, what tips you off to a student, a child that has a great eye, let's say for art, for painting?
So there are two aspects over here. One is the interest that the child has, and then the opportunities that the parents provide.
Hmm.
It's a teamwork. I would
Okay,
say a teamwork between a student, a parent, and a teacher. And as they say, it takes a village, right?
that is
So
true.
if this is a team and that works functions really very well, then the creativity the kids have along a creative journey. Um, you're right in saying that yes, our creativity decreases as we grow older, and they say there's only 2% creativity left, like as we become adults,
That's
which
right.
is very alarming number.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
so
I go ahead, please.
so it is definitely important that kids are nurtured, kids are we instill the value of art in kids right at a younger age, and that is the age when we can actually mold them to think certain ways, and bringing in art at that time is so crucial, because then when they grow as adults too, they are always thinking of doing something creative.
Very good. I read something recently. It was a quote by Pablo Picasso, and it said something, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something on the line of children, when they create art, they go outside of the lines and they do great work thinking outside of the box. And as we get older, we're taught that we must work within the lines. We cannot go outside of the lines. And it really stifles, in a lot of cases, our creativity as we grow older. And I believe that's true. Um, when we put rules and regulations on how things have to be done, I think we lose the option of creating something that maybe have never been seen before. Your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with that. As adults, we can tend to stay within our cocoons,
Yes,
and we like doing things that are in our comfort zone. And irrespective of the careers that we choose, we tend to stay within our comfort zone. But when especially with me, and when I'm working with kids, I see that they don't have a comfort zone. They are willing to explore.
yes,
And that, if we can reinforce that same concept as they're growing up at various stages in their lives, they hopefully become adults that they will come out of their comfort zones every now and then and try something new. So trying something new and seeing whether it works or doesn't work really matters.
absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about technology for a little bit. I know that you now have the robotics and an early engineering program in your studio. When did you start that project?
It started similar, it at probably pretty much the same time when my art classes started.
Oh, okay.
Since I am an engineer, I can see both sides of the world clearly. And I see that when kids are working really heavily into technology, or they are either on the art side, there should be some combination of the two. Because we all have a left brains and a right brains, left brain being really very analytical and STEM oriented, science, technology, engineering, math oriented. Whereas the right side of the brain is very creative and art. It's an idea generation factory. So to me, holistically, kids should be having both kind of educations. And we cannot just focus on either STEM, or we cannot just focus on art. We have to expose them to multiple disciplines. And not just that, but also help them connect the dots between all these various disciplines. Because in reality, in practicality, that is what is needed. Um, and so I started these classes right when I was studying my art classes as well. And we do a lot of Lego robotics. We use Legos as
Hmm.
a tool to bring out a creativity in the technological area. So when Legos initially started, they were just toys, but nowadays they have become a full-fledged educational tool.
Yes, they
And
have.
they're just fun to work with. You can break them apart, you can reconstruct and create something new, and something new comes up. And it allows kids to be creative, even being a little technical about it too.
Yes, indeed. Have any of your students ever been in a robotics competition?
We do have, there were initially, we participated in some first Lego League competitions. I used to coach Girl Scout teams for first Lego League. And yes, we did compete several times.
Okay. Now, is Studio Nafisa a year-long program, or do you have classes in the summer?
There are several classes. Our drawing class is a skill building class. So if a child is really very much into drawing and they want to draw all kinds of things, either they are characters or they're just flowers and butterflies or the people or just landscapes, that is a skill building class. And that goes throughout the year. We have some shorter duration classes, painting classes, then summer camps, spring break camps, where we focus more on making things, 3D thing, artwork. Sometimes we use recyclable materials. We expose kids to a variety of materials. And when kids are in front of these materials, their imagination kind of goes haywire. They want to try things out and they want to make different things. And it's just fun to be with them and see them make things.
I can imagine. So now that the world is starting to come out of the pandemic a little bit, have you started having in-person classes again?
We have been having in person classes since November.
Okay.
And there are a few batches that we have in person. A lot of parents are still a little apprehensive about coming to the studio. For them, we continue offering virtual classes. But we are seeing that more and more kids are now coming out. Uh, the situation is improving a lot, and the confidence level that the parents have in sending their kids out is increasing. So we have more and more kids now wanting to come to the studio for
Yes.
in-person class.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be true, especially as the schools start opening up more. If kids can go to school, then they can interact after school at the studio as well.
I totally agree. Yes.
So you do have all of the safety measures in place.
We do have, our studio has a capacity of 20 kids in a class, but right now we're just maintaining social distance. So we have just 5 or 6 students coming at a time.
Okay.
And we do take care of cleaning once they leave the class. Everything is sanitized. We maintain a social distance all throughout the class duration. They wear masks as well. And we've been pretty good about it.
Very good. Very good. Now, you may not know this about me, but in high school and early college, I also was being trained in engineering
Oh, cool.
as an architectural engineer. But I had a burning desire in me. I lived in New York City, went to a lot of theater on and off Broadway, but I never thought about getting on stage myself because I was shy. I didn't have the skills or the confidence. But after moving to Chicago in 1996 and not having any family here, I joined a church that had a drama ministry, and long story short, I ended up being involved in a Christmas play they were doing. I got bit by the acting bug, and then I went to Columbia College and took some classes and became an actor, director, writer, and producer in the theater. And my wife and I did that for 12 years. She's a singer and musician, and it wasn't until that point that I started to realize my passion for the arts. The engineering and architecture was fine. That was going to bring in the money and pay the bills, but my passion was being creative. And as you say, I can now see both sides of things, from the engineering side and from the cultural side, the artistic side. And I believe it makes me a better person, as I'm sure your students will um, grow up to be better people, having been able to see both sides, the creative and the artistic side of things, the technical side, I should say, and the artistic side. What if you could fulfill a dream for your studio for the future? What would that be?
Well, we have a lot in common, Calvin. We have a little technical background as well as art background too. And growing up, I always thought I was always involved in art in some or the other way. So the importance for art, to realize that art is very important, came at a very young age for me. And this is what I like to propagate through my studio as well. That no matter whether you become an engineer or whatever stream, the architect, or whatever stream that you take, art is going to help you do better in that particular field as well. I'm a better engineer because I'm an artist as well. Probably you also realize that you are probably better architect because you have a little bit of art background as well. I mean, artists solve problems, and that is what we need in this world right now. Uh, just like the pandemic, pandemic hit, we have to come up with a solution. It's a problem, and we are coming up with a solution with vaccines. So problem solving skill is so important. And I see that as kids have a holistic education, they become problem solvers. So my goal for the studio would be to grow this to a mini kind of a art school or a STEAM school,
Mm-hmm.
where you are not just having focusing on one discipline, but you are focusing more on integrating multiple disciplines for kids to problem solve bigger, come up with solutions for bigger problems, and come up with ideas to better their lives, do some critical thinking, and come up with making things. So those are some important aspects that I focus on: become critical thinkers, problem solvers, and be creative at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. One more question, Nafisa. Have you ever been invited to some of the schools to bring your program into the schools?
I do have many private schools where I run my programs.
Oh, okay.
So I run my art program as well as my robotics programs in
Mhm.
private schools. I run my these programs as well in public schools in the school district that we are in, where the studio is located. We are in District 204. That's where I run my programs after school, at schools, in public schools.
Fantastic. That's great. So Nafisa, if any of my listeners wanted to contact you, can you give some information or your website, or how can they find you?
There are many ways to reach Studio Nafisa. They can visit our website, www.studionafisa.com. It has a lot of information about our classes and programs we run, but we do a lot more than what is on our website. We have a good presence on social media. So on our Studio Nafisa Facebook page, there are news related to us, programs that we run, just to be up to date with the art world. All those are posted there. We are also on Instagram as at Studio Nafisa. We are also on Pinterest, Studio Nafisa. And of course, old-fashioned telephone.
That's right.
630-340-0534.
Okay, and all of that information is on your website. And I definitely encourage our listeners, if you're especially in the area of Aurora, Illinois, anywhere in the southwest suburbs, please consider looking up Studio Nafisa. I'm sure you'll be able to come in and take a look around, speak to Nafisa and the staff, and perhaps you have an interest for your child to join. Nafisa, I want to thank you for being my guest today on Drama Talk Radio.
Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for having me at Drama Talk Radio.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Well, that's about all, y'all, for this segment of Drama Talk Radio. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and until the next episode, we're going to take 2 steps to the rear and get on out of here. Until the next episode, exit stage left.